Breaking news today has sent shockwaves across the world. Reports coming out of Latin America suggest that the United States and Venezuela are now locked in their most dangerous confrontation in years. Explosions have been reported near Caracas, military movements are escalating, and Washington is openly claiming decisive action. Donald Trump is already calling this a moment of strength and control. But beneath the headlines, this crisis is exposing something far bigger: a clash of power, principles, and leadership styles. And unexpectedly, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney is now part of this story. According to early reports, U.S. forces carried out a rapid military operation targeting key locations tied to Venezuela's leadership. The Venezuelan government has described the action as aggression and a violation of sovereignty, while Washington insists it was necessary to restore order and eliminate what it calls criminal networks and authoritarian control. As information continues to emerge, one thing is already clear: this is not just a regional issue. This is a global moment. Donald Trump has never believed in quiet diplomacy. His approach has always been blunt, forceful, and unapologetic. From trade wars to sanctions to military threats, Trump sees power as something that must be demonstrated, not debated. In his narrative, Venezuela represents everything he opposes: a defiant government, anti-American rhetoric, and a challenge close to U.S. borders. For Trump, acting decisively sends a message not just to Caracas, but to the entire world. Supporters are calling this leadership. Critics are calling it reckless. And international law experts are warning that the consequences could be long-lasting. But while the spotlight is fixed on Washington and Caracas, another capital is watching very carefully: Ottawa. Mark Carney has taken a firm stance against authoritarian regimes, including Venezuela's. Canada has supported sanctions, democratic reform, and international pressure on Caracas for years. Under Carney, Canada positioned itself as principled, steady, and rules-based. Yet Carney has also been clear about one thing: global stability cannot survive if powerful nations act alone without regard for international norms. That belief is now being tested. If Canada openly supports Trump's actions, it risks damaging its reputation as a defender of international law. If it openly condemns Washington, it risks triggering serious diplomatic and economic fallout with its closest ally. This is not a theoretical dilemma. Canada's economy, security, and influence are deeply tied to the United States. Carney knows that every word matters. So far, Ottawa's response has been careful. Canada has acknowledged the suffering of the Venezuelan people and the failures of the Maduro government, while also urging restraint, legality, and a peaceful transition. This is deliberate language. It is diplomacy under pressure. Trump, on the other hand, thrives in moments like this. He frames conflict as clarity. To him, hesitation looks like weakness. But history shows that fast decisions made without consensus often leave long shadows. Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan: the world remembers how quickly victories can turn into instability. Carney remembers that too. As a former central banker, Carney understands how global shocks ripple through markets, alliances, and institutions. Military conflict in Venezuela doesn't stay in Venezuela. It affects energy prices, regional migration, diplomatic alignments, and global trust. It also raises a dangerous question: if regime change by force becomes normalized, what stops stronger nations from choosing which governments survive? This is why Canada's role matters more than it appears. Carney is trying to do something difficult: maintain Canada's alliance with the United States while quietly resisting a world where power replaces rules. It is a balancing act that requires patience, credibility, and nerve. And unlike Trump, Carney does not communicate through slogans. He communicates through signals, alliances, and long-term positioning. Around the world, reactions are sharply divided. Some governments are applauding Washington, calling the move necessary and overdue. Others are condemning it as modern imperialism. Latin America is tense. International institutions are strained. And global audiences are asking whether the rules-based order still exists, or if it is being rewritten in real time. This crisis is no longer just about Venezuela. It is about the future of global leadership. Trump represents a world where strength acts first and explains later. Carney represents a world where stability depends on cooperation, law, and restraint. Neither approach is without risk. But the outcome of this moment may determine which vision gains ground. For Canada, this is a defining test. Can Carney protect Canada's values without isolating the country from its most powerful partner? Can he influence events without escalating them? Can quiet leadership still matter in an age of loud power? These questions will not be answered overnight. But what happens next, in Washington, in Caracas, and in Ottawa, will shape the global landscape for years to come. The world is watching closely. And this story is only beginning.